Thursday 11th. At noon, the wind shifted at once from north-northeast to south-southwest, with which we stood to the westward until 4 p.m. Then tacked and stood on shore until 7, when we again stood to the westward, having but little wind. At this time, Albatross Point bore northeast, distant near 2 leagues, and the southernmost land in sight bore south-southwest half-west, being a very high mountain, and made very much like the peak of Tenerife. In this situation had 30 fathoms water. Had little wind all night. At 4 a.m. tacked and stood inshore, but it soon after fell calm, and being in 42 fathoms water. The people caught about 10 or 12 bream. At 11, a light breeze sprung up from the westward, and we made sail to the southward. At noon was by observation in the latitude of 38 degrees 4 minutes south. Albatross Point bore due east, distant 5 or 6 leagues. Friday 12th. Gentle breezes from between the northwest and north-northeast. Fore and middle part clear weather, the latter part dark and cloudy. Steering along shore south by west and south-southwest at the distance of 4 leagues off. At 7 p.m. saw the top of the peaked mountain to the southward above the clouds, bearing from us south. At the same time, the southernmost land we had in sight bore south by west. Took several azimuths both in the evening and the morning, which gave the variation 14 degrees 15 minutes easterly. At noon had the winds very variable, with dark cloudy weather attended with excessive heavy showers of rain. At this time we were about 3 leagues from the shore, which lies under the peaked mountain before mentioned. This peak we did not see, it being hid in the clouds, but judged it to bear about south-southeast, and some very remarkable peaked islands lying under the shore bore east-southeast, distant 3 or 4 leagues. Saturday 13th. Winds variable. PM cloudy weather. At 7 o'clock sounded and had 42 fathoms water, being distant from the shore between 2 and 3 leagues, and the peaked mountain, as near as I could judge, bore east. After it was dark, saw a fire upon the shore, a sure sign that the country is inhabited. In the night had some thunder, lightning and rain. At 5 a.m. saw for a few minutes the top of the peaked mountain above the clouds, bearing northeast. It is of a prodigious height, and its top is covered with everlasting snow. It lies in the latitude of 39 degrees 16 minutes south, and in the longitude of 185 degrees 15 minutes west. I have named it Mount Egmont, in honour of the Earl of Egmont. This mountain seems to have a pretty large base, and to rise with a gradual ascent to the peak. And what makes it more conspicuous is its being situated near the sea, and in the midst of a flat country, which afforded a very good aspect, being clothed with woods and verdure. The shore under the foot of this mountain forms a large cape, which I have named Cape Egmont. It lies south-southwest, half-west, 27 leagues from Albatross Point. On the northeast side of the cape lay 2 small islands, near to a very remarkable point of the main, that riseth to a good height, in the very form of a sugar loaf. To the southward of the cape, the land tends away southeast by east, and east-southeast, and seems to be everywhere a bold shore. At noon had variable light airs and clear weather. Latitude observed 39 degrees 32 minutes south. Cape Egmont bore about northeast, and we were about 4 leagues from the shore in that direction. In this situation had 40 fathoms water. Sunday 14th. PM had a gentle breeze at west. In the evening came to northwest by west, and continued so all night, and blowed a fresh breeze. We steered along shore east-south-east and south-east by east, keeping between 2 and 3 leagues off. At 7:30 saw for a few minutes Mount Egmont, which bore from us north 17 west, distant 10 leagues. At 5 a.m. steered south-east by south, the land inclining more southerly. But half an hour after, we saw land bearing southwest by south, which we hauled up for. At this time, the weather was squally, attended with showers of rain. At noon, had a steady fresh breeze at west by north, and cloudy weather. The southwest extremity of the land in sight bore south 63 degrees west, and some high land, which makes like an island lying under the main, bore south-south-east, distant 5 leagues. The bottom of the bay we are now in, and which bears from us south, we cannot see, although it is very clear in that quarter. Our latitude by observation is 40 degrees 27 minutes south, longitude 184 degrees 39 minutes west. Monday 15th. Fore and middle parts, fresh breezes between the west and northwest, and fair weather. At 8 p.m. we were within 2 leagues of the land we discovered in the morning, having run 10 leagues since noon. The land seen then bearing south 63 degrees west, bore now north 59 degrees west, distant 7 or 8 leagues, and makes like an island. Between this land or island and Cape Egmont is a very broad and deep bay or inlet, the south side of which we are now upon, and here the land is of a considerable height, distinguished by hills and valleys, and the shore seems to form several bays, into one of which I intend to go with the ship, in order to careen her, she being very foul, and to repair some few defects, recruit our stock of wood, water, etc. With this view, we kept plying on and off all night, having from 80 to 63 fathoms water. At daylight, stood in for an inlet which runs in southwest. At 8 a.m. we were got within the entrance, which may be known by a reef of rocks stretching off from the northwest point, and some rocky islands lying off the southeast point. At 9 o'clock, being little wind and variable, we were carried by the tide or current within 2 cables' length of the northwest shore, where we had 54 fathoms, but with the help of our boats we got clear. At this time we saw rise up twice near the ship a sea lion, the head of which was exactly like the head of the male one described by Lord Anson. We likewise saw a canoe with some of the natives cross the bay, and a village situated upon a point of an island, which lies 7 or 8 miles with the entrance. At noon we were the length of this island, and being little wind, had the boats ahead towing. Tuesday 16th. Variable, light airs and clear settled weather. At 1 p.m. hauled close round the southwest end of the island, on which stands the village before mentioned, the inhabitants of which were all in arms. At 2 o'clock we anchored in a very snug cove, which is on the northwest side of the bay, facing the southwest end of the island, in 11 fathoms, soft ground, and moored with the stream anchor.